We're here. Final live training. Final live training for our 4-day Fat Loss Accelerator. And I want to start off with telling you guys I'm so stinking proud of you. I'm so proud of you. And why I want to say, or what I want to say here. Hold on, let me pop out my, what's it called? Pop out my thingies. Where's my chat box? So I can see y'all. Okay, let me pop this out really quick. How are we ladies feeling? Okay, I want to, real quick before we get started, I want to hear your biggest win from this week. Biggest win from this week. Where's my pop out? Here it goes. All right, pop out. What is your biggest win? What is your biggest win? And what are you celebrating right now from this entire week? What is something that you are proud of? What is something that you are proud of how you showed up? What are some things that you are excited about? What are some wins that we can celebrate right now on how you showed up this week? Is it a mindset shift? Is it the fact that you did all 4 workouts this week? What is it? What is it? So drop it in the chat. I want to hear from you. What is the thing that you are most proud of? Nicole, did a workout every single day. Yes, you did, Nicole. Proud of you. Okay, so drop it in the chat. I want to hear from you. Your biggest wins, biggest takeaways for the entire week. Okay? Now, what we're going to cover today, you're probably like, yes, more things, more stuff, more information for me to gather. But what we do with the information is what's most important. Because I don't want you guys leaving this challenge or leaving this accelerator, leaving this container, leaving this community without knowing what you are doing next. Okay? I want you to have clear action steps. I want you to be focused on what your next goal is. And I want to make sure that you know exactly what that is. So before I jump in, make sure you book your one-on-one call so I can help you get clear. And I know, like Natasha, I talked to earlier today, and she can drop in the chat here in a second when she joins in on her biggest takeaway from our one-on-one call today. But what I want to encourage you is that you have clear insights. I just knocked my water bottle over. Clear insights on what. Oh my gosh, can y'all hear me? I just realized I had my headphones plugged in. Hopefully that's better. But clear insights on what you are doing next. Okay? Let's dive in. We're going to cover today, our main topic is you're great at starting, but the structure that you have won't let it stick. And so it's going to be almost a continuation of mindset stuff, but it really is a talking about why there is this start and stop cycle. But before we do that, again, I want to get a pulse on you guys. I want to hear from y'all if this is something that you feel you have done in the past, where you start something and then it's like you're good for a hot second and then life happens and then you feel like you need a restart, or you have to find something else, or what else can I learn or implement right now that will make me feel good. Okay, so if you feel you do this, like this up and down, almost like a yo-yo cycle, or start and stop cycle, or I need a reset, if you've used any of those type of phrases, comment yes in the chat. Okay, again, wanting to get a pulse on you guys so we can, what's it called? Let me at everyone so everyone knows we're live. But want to make sure, like, before I jump into all the things, want to make sure that's a thing. Maria, yes, and yes. I love it, Maria. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going to cover today. So if you've said things like, I need to get back on track, I was doing so well until XYZ happened, what you're really saying is, I don't have a system that's going to hold me when life is cray-cray. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because I want to give you some of the frameworks that I teach my clients that help them have success on hitting their fat loss goals, hitting their hitting their body composition goals, finding wins every single week. And so we're going to talk about what that looks like and how it's structured. Because when you build that structure, it will support you when life is crazy, when the kids are sick, when you've got a crazy work season, or when there's a transition at work, or you've got new teammates, team people on your team that you've got to train, or whatever the case may be. Because life is going to always be moving. And when you have a structure in place and allowing yourself to focus on the consistency component, not necessarily perfectionism, it's you have more predictability and the fact that you're going to be able to show up. Okay? So if that's something you guys want to dive into today, comment yes. Actually, just, yeah, I love it. Hi, Casey. I tagged you in a whole bunch of posts earlier. I hope you got all of that. But comment yes below. Comment yes below if you're like ready to dive in. All right, so I wanted to share, as you guys know, I share a little bit of component about my story every time, but I want you to understand, like, I've been where you've been, and I've walked through it, and I no longer live like that. And there is a other side to it when you really focus on that self-development and that growth and leaning into having more of a rhythm and a strategy and a structure to your fitness and nutrition and the mindset, right? But it used to be, oh, I can't wait for this challenge to start. And then I would like do the little mini challenge. Or I would be super fired up to like get in a whole bunch of workouts. And then it would be like, oh, and then I didn't work out for 3 weeks. Right. And so it was like this up and down of like, it's exhausting. Right. Not fun. It's not fun. And it makes you, it made me feel, and maybe you guys can relate to this, but it made me feel like I was failing. And being a high performer, feeling like you're failing is the absolute worst, not fun place. Okay? And the only reason it felt like I was failing is because there was no structure and strategy behind what I was doing. And when I have clients that come on into the coaching program, they're like, they do the same thing, start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. And I'm like, well, if we start and stop, we're never going to get to where we want to go, to that version of you, if there is this up and down and up and down and up and down. So what needs to be in place, what method needs to be in place to not only look for perfectionism, because I have struggled with perfectionism too, right? If it's not perfect, it's not great, right? Or having such a high standard that if it doesn't look like that, then you're again back in that failing component. You feel like it's not good enough. Also, not a safe space to be. So maybe some of those things are relating, maybe not. But what supported the process is getting into that rhythm and having the like a weekly bound thing that is going to be like, oh, did I do that? Did I hit this standard that is going to help me stay consistent? And the standard will grow as you grow, which is cool. It's so cool because you don't ever want to stop growing. But having that standard there and having that structure there, it allows you to live in this like rhythm and to keep everything rocking and rolling and moving forward. And that's how you can get to a space of maintaining your results without over obsessing all the stuff. Where it's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And it's like, no, like here's my standards. These are simply executed every single week. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, look how much time has gone by. And I'm like, look at how I have not missed a week. Right. And so that's what we're going to really unpack today, where it comes from just that discipline component by having a structure behind it. Okay. It's designed to allow you to keep moving forward. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the science of consistency here, because I think it's definitely an important thing to understand around consistency. Because a lot of people are like, well, I'm just not consistent. I'm like, of course you're not consistent because you're telling yourself you're not consistent. So I want you to think about what's happening inside your brain and what's happening inside of like your body. Because consistency in anything you do, it can be with your workouts. It can be with your nutrition. It can be with your tracking. It can be with your steps. It can be with the daily walks that you have with your family. Like everything will fall into a consistency somewhere. And if you took it to like running a business or running your teams or your workspace, also consistent, right? There's things that you have to do in order to stay consistent with your work career, right? So every habit that you have, whether that's good or bad, it is following it's like a cue there's a cue to the habit, and then there's a behavior, and then there's a reward. And it just repeats itself like this. So your brain will repeat what gets rewarded. And I know the other day we talked about the neural pathways and how they shift. So this is the same concept here where you've got the cue, you have the behavior, and then the reward. Yes, repeat, repeat, repeat. So if you start strong and you get that dopamine hit we talked about the other day, and then but then you have to stay consistent. Guess what consistency is? It's boring, because you're doing the same thing over and 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 over again. That's consistency is same thing, consistent. And that's boring. And guess what? Your brain will want to chase and find ooh, how can we start strong? Ooh, what can I do next? Ooh, over here. I'm going to order this. I'm going to add this to the list. And so there's no follow through if you just chase that dopamine part where it's like start strong, reset. And so the consistent part is, again, it's back to the boring. But guess what boring does? There's a quote that says boring builds basics. No, not boring builds basics. Oh my gosh. I totally brain farted. My brain it went away. Whatever the quote was, it totally left my brain. Scratch that. Okay. But what needs to happen at that part is breaking the pattern, just like we talked about the neural pathways, how that we have to shift it and move it over here, is breaking that pattern so that you have to make consistency, the things you're doing in the consistency, rewarding. Because again, cue, behavior, reward, loop. Cue, behavior, reward. Y'all type that in the chat. Cue, behavior, reward. Cue, behavior, reward. Your brain is going to repeat what gets rewarded, okay? So in order to, consistency will build that safety component for your neurological safety over here. And so your brain will crave, your brain and all the hormones, everything is going to crave that predictability. And that's why being in a routine, if you stick to a consistent routine, it is going to reduce your stress. It is going to lower your cortisol levels. And that is your body saying, okay, we're good to go. Like, you're safe to make a new adjustment. You're safe to make a new adjustment. And that's why routines are so important, is because you're then allowed, like, you're in the rhythm and that routine, everyone knows what to expect. Your body knows what to expect. It's safe. Just like I've been eating the same breakfast. Like I shared, who was I chatting with? I forgot. I forgot who I was chatting with, but she asked about breakfast. I was like, this is literally the same breakfast I've eaten since 2015. Right? It's safe. It's predictable. Your body knows what's happening. Your routine is consistent. And there's no need to reset. Because you're basically, when you do that, you're spiking up the stress. And guess what happens? Guys, did you know that when you have stress in your body, it is going to stall your fat loss? Yes. So the more intensity, the more chaos your body's feeling, the more unsafe your body is feeling. When it feels that, it is going to hold on. It is going to stall your fat loss process. So getting in that space, that's why walking and steps is such a good stress reliever. And I think Tina shared that earlier in the group, right? It is such a, being outside and lowering those stress levels is such a good space to be at, and like allowing you to bring those stress levels down. Okay? So if any of that hit home, I want you to drop safe in the chat, because change cannot happen when your system, this whole system, feels unsafe. All right, so type in safe in the chat. And then we're going to talk about what I have my clients do, which is so fun. Yes. Cue, behavior, reward. So true, guys. So true. I thought I could screen share on here, but I guess I can't. I was going to screen share some stuff with you guys. All right, let's go. Let's go into our next phase here. And what I want to share in this component is, where am I at? I scrolled too far. Okay, so I'm gonna share with you some of the structures that I have inside the Chaselynn Fitness program and why. Because there is a method behind every single thing we do in the program. And this is something you guys can take action with and implement right now. Again, I want you guys taking action, not just in absorbing information. You're going to take action with this stuff. Okay, so this is called the 351. Okay, 351. Y'all can type it in the chat if you want. 351. So it's super simple to follow. And when we talk about that consistency rhythm, and we talk about being able to be in that space of like repetitiveness and routines and lower stress, okay, this allows you, if you stick to this, you're good to go. And this is what all my clients do. So now 3 is going to focus on your workouts. So this is what the 3 represents. This is going to be workouts. This is your strength training workouts. And remember when I said earlier, it's a standard. It's a standard. That means you can go above the standard, but we're not going to fall below the standard. Or you can go above, not below. Okay, so it's like minimum. This is what happens. So 3 workouts a week. They are focused workouts. They are intentional workouts. And they are strength-based workouts. I've had some clients who are like, oh, I did a whole bunch of yard work. I'm like, great, that was the plus. That does not count as a workout. That is not like, oh, because you moved and had some sort of activity level, that does not align with the 3 workouts per week. 3 workouts per week have to follow that strength-based program, especially getting into your through your 30s and then into your 40s. Remember, I talked about the other day on, I think it was the training, right? Where we're down, we will lose muscle mass and bone density 8% over 10 years. Every 10 years. So if we're not doing the things to anti that, then we're going to be like, meh, we don't want that. So they need to be strength-based. Focused, intentional, strength-based. And this is minimum. Remember, you can go above, but we're not going below. So 3 is what the workouts represent. Number 5. This is your nutrition component. This is where it allows you to follow that 80-20 rule, right? It allows you to have flexibility. And when inside my program, we progressively do things differently, like throughout the stage of your program. But the 5 days of nutrition is you're fueling with intention. That means whole foods, balanced macros, the plates that we talked about, the consistent protein, those kind of things. Like you are intentional with the foods that you eat, minimum of 5 days a week. Can you do 6? Yes. Can you do 7? Yes. Right? But we are for sure hitting the 5 days where we know that we planned ahead. We had balanced plates. We had balanced macros. We're eating God made it consumption foods. Yep, God made it. We consume it. Okay? And we follow that 80-20 rule, right? Which allows flexibility in our life. That's where we eat the whole foods most of the time, but then the 20% is like a cupcake at a birthday party or the pizza night with the kids. Okay? Having that flexibility in your life allows you to enjoy things like a cookie, which is totally great. So we want those things to be a part of life. Like I love dark chocolate. Like I will eat me a dark chocolate all the time. I love me ice cream, right? You guys have your things too. What are the things you guys love? Okay, it fits into that 20% component where the majority of the time we are fueling with intention. So that's what the 5 represents. Now the 1. This one is going to be a reset. This is a reset day. It represents a couple of different things inside my program, which that doesn't matter. Once you get into my program, we can talk about what those things are. But the mindset around the rest day or reset day is going to be where you reflect, reevaluate, and realign. You guys remember talking about that the other day? Okay, this allows you to look at your structure and assessing where you're doing well, assessing what's going on in your life, where you can start to build a really good awareness instead of shaming yourself and feeling like you need a reset. Okay, this is awareness component so you can continue getting better and better and better every single week. And it gives your body this structure here. This gives your body and your brain something that is consistent, that it can count on, that's a part of the routine. Because when you make your actions predictable, guess what happens? Results! Yes! Okay, that's what we want. We want our body to respond. It's absolutely so cool when it starts to compound over time. And what's crazy is the average person will quit a habit around 18 days. And if I message some of y'all in 20 days and I'm like, hey, how's everything going? And you're like, oh my gosh, I fell off. I don't want to hear that, because you're going to implement these things that we've talked about. You're going to implement the 3-5-1. You're going to, like all the things that we've learned the last couple of days. And because it's going to be part of your system, part of your standard 3-5-1. Okay. And then when you do that, your success rates will actually double if you make it to 66 days. So if you get to that point, 2 months in, around that 8-week mark, you're starting to like really feel good. And that's where getting into the consistency mode, this is where sustainability happens, is because you start believing that version of you, which we're going to talk about some of those things here in a second. Okay. So comment. I want to hear your biggest takeaway real quick. Your biggest takeaway so far from that segment. 3-5-1. What you're most excited about. How is that going to help you? Drop it in the chat. I really wish I could have a screen share. Kind of sad. Drop it in the chat. Biggest takeaway that you've gotten from that section. Maria, I just want to get to 30 days. Yes, girl. I love it. Let's go. I had a team, which you guys have seen her in here, Tori. She's on my team, and she works with Chaselynn Fitness. And so earlier, her and I were talking, and we had a train, and we just kept going, let's go. We were so excited for you guys. We're so proud of y'all. So let's kind of talk about what's going on when we restart. Okay, because there needs to be some understanding of like what happens and why we keep restarting. And these are things like I had to study all this. I had to study the brain. I had to study psychological things. Like, why is this happening for clients? Why does this happen to women? Why do we keep doing the things that like this restart stuff? And so it was a lot of like, I've read a lot of things, and I've worked with a couple different mindset coaches over the years. And these are things that are real human behavior that we have the opportunity to shift, which is so cool. I love that about our human bodies are so powerful. It's so powerful. And when we align when we align our goals with our values, we have a higher, I don't remember the exact percentage. I think it's like 30% more. You are 30% more likely to achieve your goals when you align your goals with your values. So like that is why faith and fitness together are so important in my household. Because when you align those goals together, oh my gosh. It's like, yeah, higher percentage of achieving them because they're in alignment. So we're not restarting because we don't restart because the lack of willpower, like, oh, I just don't have the willpower to do it. No, that's not it. We restart because our identity hasn't caught up with our habits. So we start implementing these identities or these habits, and we're doing them. But what's happening is the belief system still isn't there. You're like, I'm doing these things. What's going on? So if you still see yourself as the woman who's trying to be consistent or trying to show up, or, oh, I just can't do it. If you're using terminology like that, your actions will keep matching that belief. And so when you start to see yourself as the woman who is consistent, your behaviors start to follow. And that's what's so fun about like neuroscience stuff. Like this, our brains are powerful. It's not just some fluffy, woo-hoo, whatever. It's literally neuroscience. Because the identity component of your body, it is going to drive your behavior, and your behavior reinforces it. And so this is why it's so important that like you have to believe that you are capable of dropping the 20 pounds. You have to believe that you are someone that works out. You have to believe that this is a lifestyle change and that you are, nothing else is going to get in the way of your goals. Nothing else. And that version of you, you have to believe that she's there and that you are capable of being her. And that's why that reflection component matters so much, is because when you are celebrating the smallest little things, the small wins, you're telling your brain, this is who I am. This is how I show up. And you shift that language and that verbiage that you use from I have to I get to. From the I'll start over on Monday to the I'm going to realign today. And that's where that compounding stuff starts to happen. So fun. So fun. Comment in the chat. Put I am. I am. Because when you reframe things in the phrases of I am, that's how you start to change the belief system. That's how you start changing how your body is going to respond. And again, it's neuroscience, guys. It is neuroscience. It's so fun. And I know you guys are probably like, what the heck? I thought this was a fitness and nutrition thing. Yes, it is fitness and nutrition. But you guys, as you can tell from the conversations we've had this week, so much more happens when you work on this stuff. And that's what we do in Chaselynn Fitness. It's not just, oh, I got my macros. My coach gave me macros. That's not what I do in my programs. And I want you guys to fully understand that. Like, I am not just a fitness and nutrition program. Like, I will walk alongside of you to develop a new lifestyle and to change some of those beliefs that you have. But it starts with you wanting to make those changes, wanting to adjust, right? And what's super cool is I'm just going to share a couple of stories. I've got my client Amber who was overwhelmed with all the information out there. She got anxiety thinking about food she was going to consume. And she's a mom to a 6-year-old. And she struggled with weight her entire life. And in the first 12 weeks, she dropped 12 pounds because of the methods and the systems that she followed. And we've got my client Amber. She was looking for a way to feel better in her skin, not so sluggish. She was a nurse. She would work really long hours. Her kids are older. And she wanted to have more energy and just feel better. And Amber dropped 20 pounds in her first 20 weeks. She killed it in the program. Dialed in, doing the stuff. And then my client, Ashley, she worked 60 hours a week. She had 3 teenagers. And she was like, Chase, I need it to be simple. I work super hard. I want something that I can just implement and I don't have to think about it. Y'all, she dropped 42 pounds in the first 5 months of the program. 42 pounds. Let that sink in. And she's a high performer like many of you here. So fun. And here's the thing at this component, like, it can be easy to be like, oh, I everyone else can do it. Or, oh, I can do it on my own. And that's great. And I think you can. And I want you to be able to. But when it comes to accountability and having someone in your corner just to hold you to a little bit of a higher standard that you're like, oh, like just to have someone to believe in you a little bit more than you believe in yourself. Sometimes that can be the key shift and you getting from where you're at now to dropping that 40 pounds. Just like my client Ashley. Or Kelly, who lost 9 pounds, 6.5 inches. Or Jaleesa, 9 pounds, 10.5 inches. Or my client Brittany, who wasn't even on a weight loss journey, but dropped 11 pounds and gained a whole bunch of muscle mass. My client Melissa, who ran an entire literacy program all across the state of Texas. 15 pounds, 18 inches in her first 4 months. Like, I want you guys to recognize and realize that it is possible for you if you believe it. It is possible for you if you make the decision that I'm no longer going to be this version of me. I'm not saying the version of you right now is bad. It is not. But you have a greater reward on the other side when you make that decision, and when you make that decision to want to be different, want to be a greater version of yourself. Or even my client Shannon, y'all, she didn't even drop any weight, but she dropped 10 inches in her first 8 weeks. Also mind blowing. I just want you all to believe in yourself. I want you to believe in you being able to do this. I want you to believe in the action steps. I want you to believe in like the systems you're following. I want you to trust yourself, which is what me and Tina talked about today. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to make the best decision. I love it. Hey, and I want to acknowledge every single one of you for being in this program, because you guys absolutely crushed it this week. You crushed it. So celebrate yourself. Celebrate the small wins. Find the things that you were like, oh, I did really good at this. Celebrate the things and know what you need to be doing next. So proud of y'all. All right, I'm going to be announcing our last few winners this evening and in the morning. And then everyone will be kicked out of this group. It'll be gone. It'll be gone. I'll let y'all stay in here till Sunday. Okay? So if y'all need to rewatch the videos or come back to the videos, you guys can totally do that. But I'm so thankful I got to be your coach this week, and I'm so proud of you guys. If you have not booked your one-on-one sessions, make sure you guys do that so we can get you squared away, so you have a game plan, so you know what you're doing next. And just know that I'm here for you, and I'm always going to be here for you if you need anything. Okay? Guys? Drop your biggest takeaway. Go to the Facebook group. Go drop your biggest takeaway. Comment value. If you got any value today, I want to see that really quick. Comment value. And then I have 2 requests for you guys. 2 requests. I'm going to actually put it in the, I meant to do that before I went live. I have 2 requests. Number 1, I would love for you guys to add a review on the podcast. A rating and review. So whether that's a 5-star and drop like what you've loved about the podcast, that's number 1. And then number 2 is going to be, I'm going to drop a form here, and I would love your feedback. So it's been 4 days of awesomeness. You guys have said so much of like value over the last couple of days. And I would love to get your feedback on how we can continue to improve this container over time, because I never want to stop improving. I want this to be a really great value give to all of my followers and to clients and to ladies, women just like you guys. And in order for me to keep doing that, I really need the feedback. So anything that you experienced that you absolutely loved, anything that there's a whole form to just fill out, just giving me your feedback. So I would love those 2 things to be done just as a thank you for being in this container. That would be so awesome. But I love you guys. And I will see you guys soon.